Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am filming the intro to my Shop My Stash. I have had these products in my Shop My Stash for quite some time now. I feel like I need to just kind of rotate them out, rotate some new stuff in. However, there is a lot that will be staying in this Shop My Stash rotation because I don't feel like I got the usage out of it that I wanted to get. So I will be leaving some of the products in here. So it might not be the most exciting Shop My Stash, but it's a Shop My Stash nonetheless. And I know for future not to bring this much stuff into my Shop My Stash. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking all these things are new. That is what I wanted in my Shop My Stash. With that said, for those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high and colorful beauty and self-care. Ultimately, I'm just out here talking about makeup because I love to talk about makeup. It's what brings solace to my soul, what warms my heart, and what brings me joy. Therefore, this is my self-care, and I hope that you find that you love it here just as much as I love being here myself, and you'll want to subscribe before you go. And if you do, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell because it'll notify you every single time I upload a video, and I do upload 3 times a week. So with that said, if a Shop My Stash sounds like something you are interested in, it's basically building my everyday makeup drawer for the next undetermined amount of weeks, please keep on watching. Just realized my sound wasn't on in that entire intro. At least I found out right now that my sound isn't on. I apologize for my intro being maybe a little bit auto-y. Auto-y? So we are jumping right straight into fall, and I wanted to make sure that I rotated some of this makeup out that I've been using for a while, that I've either loved using, didn't love using, don't see myself using again, ever, whatever the case may be. However, there are some things in here I just haven't used. So some of these things will stay in. I'm going to start with complexion because I think that that is the area that has the most unused products in it, because I currently have 2 foundations in my project pan and 1 concealer in my project pan, and those are getting more use than these guys. I did use this. This is, and I actually think I used this on camera. So this is the Polite Society More Than a Pretty Face Skin Caring Foundation. This is in the shade Fair, and I think when I used it, I believe it was in a Get Ready With Me, Build Your Own Palette, conjunction collaboration video. I really liked this, but I remember saying, I don't think the Fair is my right shade, but they did color match me for it. And actually it turned out really beautiful. So I am really excited to have this in my collection and will hold on to it. And it actually, I know Polite Society is not Too Faced, but it is a Too-Faced brand when you consider the owners, the makers of Polite Society, and who owned and made Too Faced what it was. This isn't as warm as the Too Faced foundations get on me, so I really did enjoy this. Yes, I know it is Polite Society. I also really kind of love the packaging of it. It's like an egg shape, and it's just really sleek and soft, and I really like it. And I know that that's not a reason to love a foundation, but it is a reason why I love that foundation. Secondly to that, I did use this one. This is like the complete opposite color of this. I do think I got this too warm. Funny story about this is that I was shade matched in the store, and they gave me a completely different shade to purchase than this one here, and I purchased this one because I thought I knew better than they did on what my shade was going to be, and I was wrong. This is not a great shade. This is the About Face Performer foundation. It is a skin focusing foundation, and I bought myself the shade LM2 Neutral. I don't necessarily believe that this is neutral. This is really warm on me. It actually oxidizes to a really beautiful shade of orange. And I do have to put a white mixer in it and a blue mixer in it in order for it to be light enough and cool enough for me to use on my skin. But the mixers do not do anything to impact the formula of this foundation. I felt that it was really beautiful on my skin. The one thing that I honestly don't love about it is the doe foot applicator. And I think mostly because, number one, I have to mix it. So I have to pull it out from the doe foot, put it onto a palette, and then mix it, right? That's my bad. I picked up the wrong shade. But secondarily to that, the doe foot on the end is so big that every time you pull it out of the container, like spits of foundation go everywhere. So it happens to just create a giant mess on my vanity, but I do like the finish of this foundation. And because I can mix it and make it work, I mix most of my foundations anyways. I'm not opposed to doing that, and I'm not going to take this back. I'm just going to keep using it because I do think that it is beautiful. And, you know, maybe one day when I get a tan again, when I'm in the sun or sun decides to make its way into the area in which I live, I will maybe be that shade of light, medium, neutral that turns kind of orange. I also did use this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Radiant Concealer, and this I got in the shade Fair, and I love this concealer. So I have tried several different concealers over the last year and a half-ish, and almost every single one of them I have tried over the last year and a half I've loved, and that is saying a lot because I am a person that does not love concealer. In my repertoire, I don't have very many concealers left in my collection, so I'm not sure if this will stay in because of lack of other concealers to use, or if I will put this away for another day. But this is a really beautiful concealer. I feel like it is really lightweight and kind of emollient under the eyes and really hydrating, but also provides a decent amount of coverage. I do find that I do have to tap it out a little bit, but it is not nearly as drying as most concealers I have in my collection are, and I really do enjoy it. I will be holding on to that. I also did use this. This is the Natasha Denona High Glam Powder Foundation, and I did buy this in a foundation shade that I think matches my skin tone, maybe just a slight bit light. I'm not a huge powder foundation kind of person, but I did find when I used it over the top of this, it just created such a beautiful finish. So I go into it with a powder brush and just lay it on like a powder versus going into it with the like sponge applicator thing and like putting it on my face as if it were indeed a foundation, because that is what it is. I like it in either way. Not a powder foundation person, but I do like this powder foundation. It is beautiful. It sits on the skin nicely. It kind of looks like a second skin. It's not powdery like most powder foundations are. I do like it better brushed on in a kind of lightweight way, but I am going to keep it in this because I only used it a couple times, once pressed into my skin and once powdered on. So I am twice powdered on, so I am going to keep it in here. I just don't feel like I gave it enough use to really figure out what it is that I like or dislike about it. So I'm going to keep it in. This Win foundation, I didn't use at all. I'm excited to use this, but I didn't use it all. So I am going to keep this in. This is the Hydrating Skin Enhancing Tint. So it's more like a skin tint than it is a foundation. But I do have it in the shade More, or 133. It's kind of a light neutral kind of shade. I'm going to keep this in because I didn't get any use out of it. I also did use this corrector one time. This is the Becca Smashbox under eye correcting product. And you know what's weird about this product is I do remember a time when this was like a holy grail for me. And now I just feel like It's really, really too emollient for my under eyes. It moves everything around. I don't love it. And also, I mean, it smells. It doesn't smell very good. So I do think I'm going to declutter this because I don't love it anymore. I do think that it is starting to go off. And the Glossy A Stretch Concealer, beautiful, beautiful. But because I had this in here and because I had the LYS one in my project pan and I had the Dior one in my deck of panning, like I didn't use it very often, so I am going to leave it in here. I do love this concealer though. I do think that I only got like 2 uses out of it though. I didn't use this primer at all. Completely forgot it was in there. This is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. Love this primer, but I didn't get to use it at all, so I am going to leave it in here. I also didn't use this, which is the Fenty Bright Fix Eye Brightener, which is supposed to be like an under eye brightening kind of color correcting kind of thing. So I am going to keep this in here as well because I didn't use it at all. These 2 powders, I used both of them. Listen, this loose powder by Benefit is the Benefit Professional Power Powder. I love this. The one thing that I do not love about it is I don't love putting it on my under eyes. I do feel like it dries out my under eyes just a little bit, and also for whatever reason conflicts with whatever concealer I have on my under eyes and doesn't look fantastic. Unless I am using like a powder brush and like dipping the powder brush in and really, really taking some of that powder off and just kind of laying it over the top of my eye, or my under eye, not my eyeball, but I don't love it on my under eyes. I do love it on the perimeter of my face. I think it is beautiful and it does a really good job of not looking powdery even on my super dry skin. It also does a really good job of like blurring everything underneath it. I love that powder, and again, I don't love powder, so that is saying, I mean, powder doesn't excite me anyways, and I am a person who up until recently didn't wear powder every single day. I also have this Kosas Featherly Cloud Set Powder, or Cloud Set Powder in the shade Featherly, and you know, mine doesn't smell like, and I've had it for a while and it still functions quite well. I really do like it a lot. I don't think that I got super great usage out of this time around because I was so enamored by the Professional Power Powder. So I think, going to keep this powder in the setup here because I didn't get very much use out of it, so it just seems right to me. And then from the complexion department, last but not least, are my primers. I am going to keep this one. It was beautiful. It is a Smashbox Photo Finish Illuminate Glow Primer. It does have a little bit of an orange tint to it, and for a minute I thought that maybe it was the reason why this was turning me so orange or oxidizing to orange, but I just don't think it was this. I've tried it with other primers and it just oxidizes to orange. That's just how it goes. If I mix it, it's perfectly fine, but this is beautiful. It's a beautiful primer. It's got a really nice, like, radiant, glowy, beautiful, like golden almost finish to it. I do think that if you use too much of it, your skin does look a little bit orange, and if you use it on its own, your skin does look a little bit orange, but I do like it a lot, so I will hold on to it. This one I am decluttering. I was using this one. It's got SPF in it, so you have to shake it really hard and make sure it's all shook up. And then when it comes out, it is like this yellowy, like truly this yellow liquid that just kind of goes everywhere. I would put it on my skin with a brush because it's just so glowy. It also leaves kind of an orange cast on the back end, right? It is the Beauty Bio Perfecting Blend Drops with SPF 40. It's supposed to be an invisible finish priming drop, and it says it's with color correcting properties. So yes, I would say it's got color correcting properties because it does have a little bit of that orangey peachiness to it. However, I also know that I used that primer solely for the first, I think, week and a half that it was in this Shop My Stash. And I broke out with probably the worst breakout that I've had here and all along my mouth here. It was all along my chin here. It was awful. It was awful. And I don't think I don't have acneic skin. I don't deal with that. And that's not bragging or anything. That's just me saying I've never really had that problem. When I stopped using this and it flipped over to this one for the last, 3 weeks at least, or was dabbling with other primers in my collection, that went away. It started healing. It's all gone around my mouth. It's all gone on my chin, or on my chin, around my mouth. But I'm still battling it here because this one was massive and painful and awful. And I don't even know what was going on, but clearly my skin does not like the SPF that's in it. And what helped me drill it down to that is that I also have this that I will be decluttering as well. This is the Clinique Super Defense City Block. It's a daily SPF with broad spectrum 50. This does the same thing to me that this does. So I just think that my skin doesn't like this kind of SPF. And I don't know if it is, you have to tell me. Does that mean it's a chemical SPF? Or topical? That must mean it's topical, right? It's topical SPF. I don't know, but I can't use either one of these. So these are also being decluttered. And I know that this wasn't necessarily something that I pulled into my Shop My Stash, but it was something that I have been trying to use for the last 5 months and just realized that it was causing me issue. Not trying to use for the last 5 months, but testing for the last 5 months, and occasionally would put it on my skin after my skin being healed and realized that it was what was causing the issues. And I haven't used it in probably a couple months, but then I put this on and it was reacting, my skin was reacting in the same way as it had with that Clinique product. So we're going to declutter both of those. Moving on to lip products, because I don't know, those feel like they should be next. You know what? I like these, and that shocks me because I don't have very many Benefit lip products that I actually kind of like. This one is the Benefit Splash Tint, and it is in the shade Coco Cabana. It is more of a glossy finish, kind of a tint to your lips, just a moisturizing tint to your lips. I really do like it. It's super comfortable. It's not drying. It is, a truly beautiful tint. It would go beautiful with this eye look today. I just feel like it's great. This one is the matte lip tint, and this one is in Pillow Play. And while I don't like this one nearly as much because it is matte and I don't love a matte lip, it is also beautiful. It's not drying. It goes on, it stays on. I wouldn't say that this is the most longest lasting lip product on the planet, but it is just a tint. The doe foot is very interesting. It's kind of flat, but also kind of like shaped like a bunny. Like, I don't know what that is, but it is a very strange doe foot. I don't love the doe foot, if I'm honest with you. What I think is funny about these things is I first saw these on like Trend Mood, dropped in, I think, Japan, and I was like, those are super cute. I want them in my collection. And then I was like, oh, but they're just in Japan. And when they came out in the US, I bought one and I got one, and I actually quite like them. I'm really happy that I like them because I don't like very many Benefit lip products. These guys, I don't mind these. I did not use the red one, but you know what? I'm probably not going to use the red one. I am going to keep the red in though, because I didn't use the red one. I do need to use the red one, but the rest of these I did get some use out of. These are the Clinique Chubby Sticks, and they are for your lips, your cheeks, your whatevers. This one was my favorite, probably, I would say, and this one is in the shade whole lot of honey. And I just really love it because it's just this really beautiful, like peachy brown. It's just so pretty. It goes on my lips really nicely, doesn't dry them out. It also doesn't last super long, but it is, you know, a decent wear time on it for what it is. It's just a glossy stick. Problem is these do not have a whole lot of product in them, but these did come in like a holiday kit, so that might not be the full size option of these. I did love this. I will likely pull this into like a project pan next year. I wouldn't see myself having any problem using that. This one was also very nice. This one is in the shade Broadest Berry. I would say it is a little bit deeper than I like to go, which is this one here. But I do feel like it appeared like almost my perfect shade of red. Not so red that it's scary to me like the other red. It almost looked like what's on my lips right now. It would be this, but it's not. This is really beautiful. I will keep this one in my collection as well. This one almost was a little bit too pink for me in like swatching, but then I put it on my lips and it was actually really very pretty. This is Super Strawberry. It is this one here. I felt like just in swatch, it looked too pink for me, but then I put it on my lips and it was like the perfect, like my lips, but better shade. So I'll keep that one too. I didn't try the red, so it is going to stay. These both beautiful, beautiful. I had a really good time with them. I love them both. One is the Half Caked liquid lipstick, I think is what the category is that it is in my collection. But I'm not really necessarily sure that it's a liquid lipstick. It doesn't like stay on my lips forever. It doesn't have a really like good solid liquid lipstick wear time to it. These are called the lip fondants, and this one is in the shade ASAP, and it's really pretty, honestly, and a lot deeper than it appears in here, but I had a really good time wearing it. I think it's a beautiful color, and I think it's honestly probably a really good like fall time color. But I'm not going to keep it in because I did get some really great use out of it. This one by Mellow, probably my favorite of the two. This is the Mellow Matte Liquid Lipstick, and this one is in the shade Sydney. And it is just a beautiful, like, nudie pink that honestly on my lips looks almost brown. So I did like it as much as it kind of turned like this brown color. It is kind of like a, I don't know, like a gray toned mauve almost. I did like it. However, I hate the doe foot on this. The doe foot on this is so tiny. It is little. And you know, truth be told, I forgot to say that about this guy too. This concealer has the smallest doe foot. In a world where we are used to big fatty doe foots, this has a tiny doe foot. It's like almost like you're using a toothpick to put on your lip product. I love the doe foot on this guy. You see how it's kind of like this teardrop shape or raindrop shape, and it's got this like a hole in the middle to hold on to the product so that you get a good amount of product. I felt I needed to dip in several times to get the amount of product that I needed for my lips on that, and then it wasn't comfortable to put on anymore either. This felt the same way. I hate that doe foot. Charlotte Tilbury, if you're listening, that doe foot sucks. For lip liners, I think these are the only 3 I brought in. There might be another one that I put in my to-go bag that I ended up actually putting back into my lip liner drawer, but all of these were super. All of them are really nice. This one is Wayne Goss, and this one is in the shade Medium Nude. It is right there. It went really well with like this liquid lip. It went really well with this color of like gloss from the Clinique line. It went really well with this lip tint. It was just a really good all around lip liner. This one is by ColourPop, and this one is in the shade Oh Snap. Honestly, one of my favorites. It is this one here, just slightly a bit more mauve-y. And then this one is also by ColourPop, and this one is in the shade Little One. I don't think I used this one quite as much as the other two, but I did use it enough that I felt like I can put it back. It is just a little bit more orange toned for me. On my lips it looks very coral, so I have to put like a pink over the top of it to make it look less orange. The next products that I have to talk about are the plethora of highlighters and blushes that I brought in. Like, what possessed me to bring in so much? So first of all, let's talk about these guys. So I have the NYX Buttermelt blushes, and I do have them in Had Butter and For the Butter, and I love both of them. This one is on my cheeks today. It is on top of another blush product that I wanted to get the final uses out of, so I did pull this in. This is a crazy orange blush, and it is also beautiful. Like, I love orange blush. This looks really good on my skin. I can't explain it. I really can't. So the For the Butter is more of a like deep pinky mauve tone, and I also really love it. And here's what I will say about these is they are super pigmented, a little double do you. Like, you need to go in like really light-handed or you're going to end up looking like a clown. But if you do it right, they've just got this really beautiful, like, healthy luminosity to them that I am so happy to have these in my collection, even though they're drugstore, and I want more. Now, I also kind of want one of the Buttermelt bronzers, but they also have a really rosy tone to them, and I'm just not sure how I feel about a rosy toned bronzer at this point in time in my life. So, I mean, I want a bronzer to be a bronzer, and I want a blush to be a blush, and I feel like those bronzers are more bronzer than the bronzers, to be honest. And that's not what I want. These are beautiful. They're airy. They go on beautifully. They kind of just sink into the skin, become one with the skin, are breathable, movable, are not powdery, and are pigmented enough that you could have a bright orange blush if you want it, but also not pigmented enough that you can't sheer it out if you want it to look a little more subdued. I think they're just really beautiful on the cheeks, and I want more. I want the purple one so dang bad. I need to talk myself out of buying purple blushes. You don't even know. Like, I was in a store all week last week helping out and support, and would swatch the not new, but the Fenty Beauty blushes every single day that are kind of in the wonky shaped like pan. And the purple one, yes, I want it so bad. I look stupid in purple blush. I look great in orange. So next we have this one. This one is the RMS Redimension Hydra Powder Blush. And this one is in Pomegranate Fizz. And it is so pretty. It again is a beautiful formula of a blush. It's really kind of glowy and dewy. I remember there being a time where I was like, I don't like a glowy blush. I love a glowy blush these days. I wore this one so dang much. It goes onto the skin beautifully. It blends with the skin and everything that you put onto your skin beautifully. It gives a really nice dewiness and a really nice glow, so that you don't feel like you have to do more to make yourself look useful or alive. What I love about this too is these pans pop out and you can buy just the refill. So I do want more of these blushes, and the fact that I can just buy the cartridge of blush and use this one apparatus for like when I am taking the blush or using the blush in a way that I feel like I need a component for it, like I can do that. This is a beautiful blush. I'm really happy I purchased it, and I found that at JCPenney's. I didn't even know that JCPenney's carried makeup these days, and went in there and found all kinds of stuff from RMS Beauty, Lunar Beauty, Sigma Beauty, all the places. that you typically cannot find in store. I also have these two, which were limited edition, like glowy blushes from Fenty Beauty. They are the Hot Cheeks Velour Blush Lights, and I have Baked Peach and Juicy Peach. So Juicy Peach looks like this, and it is a really beautiful, like peachy, glowy formula. I would say it is a little bit more glowy than like the RMS one, and I feel like doesn't dual purpose as well as the RMS one does, because I feel like it's just too glowy. And then Baked Peach looks like this. It's a little bit deeper. I feel like this one was too deep to be a highlighter and didn't really showcase itself in the same way that the other one did. So I was really happy that this one I could use, I felt like, more as a blush than the other one. The other one I just feel like is almost too glowy to be a blush, right? But it's also too deep. I mean, like when you see it there, it's too deep to be a highlighter. So I just feel like the formulation of those could be perfected just a little bit more so that they are more like the RMS formula, where they are glowy but not so glowy that you feel like you're slathering like highlighter on colored highlighter on your cheek. Not that that is bad. Like if you like it that way, you do you, but I didn't love using this one as a blush on my face, but I also thought that it was too deep, almost too much peach to golden to act as a highlighter on my face. For highlights, I do have 4 that I pulled in here for powders, and then I also had 2 liquids. I didn't use these liquid ones at all. I forgot that they were even in here, so they will remain in the Shop My Stash rotation. This is the Natasha Denona High-Gen Skincare Infused Glow Enhancer, and I have the shade Light. And this is a little bit different. It's kind of like this, like, almost like putty. I think that you guys can see I just put like a finger in there and press down a little bit. You could probably dig all the way down if you want to. What I love about this formula is it goes on and it is just like wet on your skin. Like it doesn't sit on top of your skin like a highlighting powder would. It doesn't stick in places that it shouldn't, even though it's kind of like putty-like. It's just so pretty, and you can blend it out and it becomes just the most beautiful skin enhancing glow. And I hate saying that because it is part of the name, but it really truly is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I am so happy that I have this in my collection, and the packaging is so sleek and luxe and beautiful. It's not got like a clasp closing. I think it does have a magnet of some sort, but it is just, it's a beautiful, beautiful package. Then we have this one, which is the ABH Glow Seeker Highlighter in Sun Idol. And I think that this was supposed to be the same formulation as the Amrezy highlighter, if I remember correctly. And I do really also like this. I think that it is beautiful and golden, and without looking like awful golden. It's like that perfect, even though it's kind of more yellow gold in here, it's kind of a lot more like white gold on the skin without being stark and too much in your face. I feel like these two are trying to like emulate each other with the packaging. The difference is that one of them is so much bigger. It reminds me of an ice cream sandwich than the other one. So this one is definitely going to take up a lot more space. I do think that I love the Natasha formula much better. It's just a little bit more emollient and goes on a little bit more impactful and wet looking than the ABH one, which can look kind of powdery dependent on like the whole composition of your makeup on your face, but it is beautiful. I don't think that it's 100% a replication of the Amrezy formula. I also don't know if I'm, speaking out my butt with that. Maybe that is not what they meant that to be, but I do recall hearing that. I think that that is what was supposed to be going on with that. The next one I have is this, and this is the Fenty Diamond Balm in Rose Pave. And the funny story about this is I did have a Fenty Diamond Balm at one point in time that I decluttered years ago because I didn't love it. And this might be their words of wisdom for you, for some of you who maybe are just coming into this platform. Like, don't declutter just to declutter because you think that you need to declutter. And also, if it's truly beautiful and you think that you should hold on to it, or you think that there might be any time in the future that you will love it, hold on to it. This is the highlight in Rose Pave. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it just looks so beautiful and so wet and has this beautiful like pinkiness to it. Can you guys even see that? Has this beautiful like pinkiness to it that just looks like there's not anything on your skin, but you're glistening. It's so pretty. And I love that it's got like this kind of pink kick to it because it's a beautiful like blush topper, in my humble opinion. And then we have this one, which is the Fenty Demi Glow in Too Much. And I didn't use it. I didn't use it at all. There's not even a swatch mark in here. I didn't use it at all. So it will stay in. So I've got 2 liquid highlighters and 1 powder highlighter for sure staying in this. The rest of those will definitely go. From a bronzer perspective, I did use all 3 of these. This was my cream bronzer. This is the Too Faced Melting Bronzing and Sculpting Stick in Chocolate Souffle. And you guys, I did love this. I think that you can see just how much use I've had in it. This is really, really beautiful. And I just would take a little bit of it and put it onto a brush and dust it onto my face in that way. And it blends beautifully. It smells like chocolate, which is not my favorite, to be honest, but it is a really, really beautiful like bronzing stick. It feels kind of balmy, but it definitely dries down on the face and gives you just this beautiful bronze. I love this. And honestly, the Chocolate Soleil bronzer is one of my favorite bronzers to use as the powder one. Favorite bronzers to use is like a contour. And I feel like this is kind of the same way. It's got just enough yellowiness to it to be a really pretty bronzer, but it's also got just enough gray to it to go on and perform as a contour does. This Bobbi Brown bronzing powder in Natural looks really dang dark, but it is part of the bronzing stuff that's happening on my cheeks today. I really do like it. I don't think it's the easiest bronzer for me to work with, but it's not also the hardest bronzer for me to work with. It's not my favorite, but it's also not my favorite. It's a decent bronzer. Would I repurchase this bronzer? Probably not. It's definitely not better than my Pat McGrath Nude Honey and or even my Dior and or even my Natasha Denona Contour powder. And I mean, even my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil I like better than this, but it's not awful either. So I did have a decent time with it, but it was kind of on a learning curve. It is, I think, one of the lightest ones, and it's still really kind of deep. This is it. It's also really, really red toned, so I had to work to make it work for me. And I do know that it is a bronzer I will continue to get use out of, but it's not a bronzer that I would immediately be drawn to using. This one also was just a lot of work. Listen, this is the Live Tinted Hue Beam, and it is a blushing bronzer duo, so it is like one of those bronzers that's like bronzer blush, and then this top one I think is also just a different shade of bronzer. And while I did like it, I do think that it just came out like blush no matter how I was using it. So if you go in with the capacity or the thought process that it is going to be a blush on your face, it actually works better because it's kind of an orange or a corally toned blush if you mix it all together. But if you just bounce into this area here, it comes out a little bit more pink. And if you just brush into like this area here at the top, it comes out a little bit more coral. So we have the pink and then we have the coral. It's just a blush. It's just a blush. It was a powder blush for me. It didn't function in my world as a bronzer. I don't think in anybody's world this could be a bronzer, but it's a beautiful blush. I did have a really good time with it, but man, it is so pigmented and you have to go in with the lightest hand. I would say I struggled with this blush more than I struggled with the pigmentation in these blushes. And I don't know what the difference is, maybe because those are, I think, a baked formula and just glide on just a little bit differently than the powder does. This is a giant pan of difficult to utilize powder in my humble opinion, but it's beautiful and I will use it, but it's not my favorite. Lastly, for blushes, we also had some sticks and creams that I brought into this. I don't love this. This is really kind of, I don't know, like no makeup, right? And if I'm not wearing makeup, I'm not gonna go through the process of trying to do makeup. It is pretty, but it shears out to almost nothing, but looks like there's something there, but looks like it's not meant to be there, kind of something, or like, yeah, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. It is also very tacky and balmy and remains that way. It doesn't dry down, and I don't love that about it. It is SPF 30, and it is called the Nude Sticks Nude Screen Blush Tint. And it's just, I'm just not a fan. I am going to probably declutter this and give it to my daughter. So that is leaving the chat. These are fantastic. I love these so much. These are the Nude Sticks Nude Matte Luxe in Juicy Melons. And the shade of that one is this like really pretty, like corally pink color. I did use this quite significantly. I think that you guys can see that, like when I roll it all the way down, like there's quite a bit of a ledge there that you can see. That is the shade of it. It is so pretty, and on the skin it is so pretty. I do find that these kind of buff out also to almost sheer, but they don't like cause the same kind of interpretation on your skin as this does of the makeup being on your skin. And this one is a Nudies Matte, which I liked better. It is in the shade of Picante. It is really orange. I didn't use it nearly as much. It is so beautiful. I do think that this is definitely more of a summer shade, but I did like this one better. It just didn't like, it didn't buff out almost to nothing as much as the pink one did, which is a plus and a minus, right? Just depending on what you want. I also felt like it dried down better than the pink one did, so there's that. I do have this IT Cosmetics Glow with Confidence Sun Blush, and mine is in the shade Sunlit 10. It's a beautiful, like, peachy pink, or maybe not even peachy pink, maybe just straight up pink. This feels very weird in the pot on your finger. It just feels like you're putting like a gloss on your lips, but you know, that was so pretty. It was so pretty. And it is what I fixed my skin with when I went in with this, and it made my skin look weird. What I love about it is it feels very like balmy in the pot, but on the skin it dries down and still leaves behind this like really beautiful glow, or maybe hydrated look to it without it being balmy so much so that your hair is going to stick to your face or no. So I love that product, so I'm really happy to have that in my collection. And then I also had these two. This is the AF94 Playdate Glow Multi-Use Cheek and Lip Color, and this one is in the shade Super Freak. It looks like this. I did use this a couple times, and I honestly didn't mind it. It's actually really quite nice. What I don't love about it is that I don't feel like it 100% dried down. It's still very, very tacky to the touch, even when it's on your skin. Now, that could be good in some cases, I guess. For me, it's just not. So I am going to declutter this one to my daughter. This one I didn't even open, so this one is going to probably go into a giveaway or also go to my daughter. Who knows? These are the Melt Glitter Gel eyeshadows. And I thought I was going to like love these. I hate these so much. I hate them so much. I do not love them. This Nightmare Before Christmas 0, it's just awful. And putting it on, like, I don't even know how do you use these, because I definitely am never going to put these on my eyes again, ever. They were hard to get onto my eyes, hard to get off of my eyes. You can feel the grittiness in them. And when you tried to like build it up to get more glitter, it just pulled up the glitter from underneath it. It was awful. It was awful. I don't love it. I love this Making Christmas shade, but man, I could not make this work for me on my eyes. Look at that. That is stunning. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong. I know that I'm doing something wrong. Are you not supposed to use these on your eyes? Like, I mean, I guess not. They're glitter gels, duh. But like, is that not what they're made for? Because if this is a body glitter, I want to know who's wearing this on their décolleté. This one is the one from Bailey Sarian. And I would say that one I wasn't as excited for as I was like Making Christmas. Although that one was, I mean, you guys can see just the patchiness of that. It's just gross. And also the glitters are so big. I put it on my eye. I took it immediately off. The glitter was going everywhere and I was terrified to get it into my eyeball and cut my eyeball open. So, I mean, those are likely going to be decluttered. I don't love them. I don't love them at all. Unless you in the comment section can tell me a better way, those are going in the garbage. Now these are the better way. These are the way to wear beautiful duochromes that are liquid on your eyes. These are all three by About Face, and these two are by Juvia's Place. I've used every single one of them. I love them so dang much. I don't know that I love them more than like the Danessa Myricks Twin Flame liquid multi-chromes, because I do think that those lasted longer. But these lasted a good amount of time. I would say a good, 5-6 hours. Same with the Juvia's Place ones. I think I got a good 5 hours out of them. I loved wearing these ones on like my inner corner because these ones are a little bit more like transparent base. Just really made for like a highlighty moment. The one thing that I don't love about the Juvia's Place one is look at this doe foot. Like, and that's because when I tried to stick it in here, like it got caught on its own little stopper there and it bent. And the only reason why I know that to be true is because this one is straight. So something went awry with that one there. But these are really beautiful. They're just like transparent base. You have to use them in smaller areas. So I use them in my inner corner and like on the like first third of an eye look when I use them in my eye looks, but they're beautiful. I know that you guys aren't seeing it this way, but this is transparent base. You can only see it in certain lights, but this is a beautiful like pinky tone in my view from the side, and this one is like a beautiful like mermaid tealy green. And then up front, close and personal, they look like a golden and like a mint green. I don't know, they're just really pretty. And then these ones by About Face are equally beautiful, but obviously darker in their product. So these really were all over the lid kind of shadows for me. I had a really good time using these. I do love them so much. And when you can get these ones from About Face and those ones from Juvia's Place for such a really great price point, like I would suggest doing that before you ever spend the money on like a Natasha Denona, even a Danessa Myricks one. They're just so dang expensive, and these ones are decently good as well and last decently long. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see like just the sheer like differences of color. Maybe this one for me, looking down at it here, is like a really pretty like violet, and you're seeing it be kind of a blue. This one for me is another violet. I don't think I needed both of those in my collection. This one for me is, it looks like it's this one's color in the monitor, but for you it's looking gold. So definitely a green to gold. This one is like a purple to blue. This one is also like a purple to blue, but maybe a different color purple to blue. I definitely did not need both of these, but really happy to have them in my collection nonetheless. And again, they are just so pretty. And if you don't want to spend the money on like a Twin Flames by Danessa, these work just as well. I wish I could show you. How can I do this? I need maybe a mirror. Yes, there you go. Can you guys see it now? I mean, you can see it a little bit. Okay, what about this one? Yup, there we go. I mean, just the fact that they're changing all kinds of colors while I've got this mirror over the top of them is just crazy sauce. Those will all go back into general population of my makeup inventory. Here's the thing too. It takes painstaking attempts to get these things off. Once they're on for the amount of time that they're going to be on for. But once they start coming off, it's awful. These will also go back into mainstream population. This is a Urban Decay Moondust shadow in the shade Solstice. I really love this shadow. It is beautiful. It was my first Moondust and the one that really helped me fall in love with the Moondust shadows. These are kind of expensive, but you can get them on sale at Ulta Beauty pretty often, honestly, and they're almost in every single 21 days of beauty sale. And this one will also go back in. This is the City Color Glow Pro Iridescent Highlight in the shade Nebula. I do use this as an eyeshadow because I just won't be using this as a highlight, but it is a beautiful interstellar blue. It's really pretty. And then I also have this Chantecaille Sunbeam Cheek and Eye shade, and it is in the shade Ray, and I use it as an eyeshadow, as a single eyeshadow. It is so pretty, and I mean, just a really beautiful, like, peachy copper, really a beautiful eyeshadow shade. So I use it as an eyeshadow. I won't be putting that on my cheeks anytime soon. Some things that also will be going in. This is the Ciate London Eyeluster Cream eyeshadow. This again is just a really pretty sparkly eyeshadow. This is one that I hate the doe foot. It's really a very super skinny, super flat doe foot. I don't love it for eyeshadow application. So I would put this on my hand just like I did just now, and then I would pick it up with a brush. It's kind of got this like duochrominess to it because it looks white here, but when you're looking at it from the side, it kind of looks like a yellow gold. I do like it. I will keep it, and it's pretty impactful and still going strong. I didn't use any of these shadow sticks, so these will be staying in. And with that, I have the NYX Jumbo in Black Bean. I have the LOC heavy petal. The only one I have used is the LOC Champagne Problems, but that's because I ended up putting this into my project pan, so it is going to stay in my project pan for now. I do have 2 Charlotte Tilbury ones. I have the Smoke Pillow Talk, and I have the Pillow Talk, which is like a matte, deeper brown, and then a shimmery kind of like pinky shade. And then I have the IT Cosmetics Superhero No Tug in, I think, Galliant Gold. And I have the Beauty For Real Shadow Stick in the shade Midnight Something Something. So those are going to stay in because I did not get any use out of them. With that said, again, these are going to go unless one of you can tell me how to use them. These are all being decluttered. So I have got 6 for sure, 9 potential. We do have like all of the eyeshadow sticks are staying in, and then we have a handful of other products that are also staying in. The rest of them are going to go back into general population. But before we do that, we're going to go pull some new products. So let's go do that now. I already have the one foundation that is staying in, the Win foundation. We're going to pick a couple more. I haven't used this one in a while, so I do think I'm going to pull this in because like I used to use the poop out of this. I do think that I could maybe finish this year if I put my mind to it. So I'm going to pull this in, and from the foundation realm, I also think I'm going to pull in my Chanel Numero Un. This is one of the best foundations on the planet, and it has been forever since I've used it. And it's one of those foundations that costs so much money that you're like, you hoard it. You're afraid to use it. So I think I'm going to pull this in too. And I think between those 3 foundations in my project pan, or the 2 foundations in my project pan and the 3 in my Shop My Stash drawer, we should be set for foundations. Like I probably even have too many. For concealers, correctors, and powders, I do have 1 concealer and 1 corrector in my Shop My Stash drawer already. So I have the Glossier Stretch Concealer and the Fenty Under Eye Brightener thing. I do think that I'm going to pull in this concealer because it is a new concealer to me. So, you know, I like to pull in new things into these Shop My Stashes so that they see some use. As far as powders go, I do have the Natasha Denona powder foundation that I use as kind of like an all-over face powder in there. I also have the Kosas Cloud Set powder in here, and I don't have anything new, so I am not sure that I'm going to pull in any of the powders. From the primer perspective, I have the Tarte Timeless Smoothing. You guys know, because I talked about it in this video, the primer one of these, I had a really horrible, like, acneic reaction to, so I am going to declutter these out of my primer collection. These are brand new. I don't want to use them. I want to bring in a gripping primer. So I think it's been a long time since I used this. So we're going to bring this one in. So I have a smoothing, a gripping, and then I'm going to bring in this one because this is new to me. This was just a 100-point perk at Sephora. This is the Yummy Skin Universal, what is this called? Like skin balm, right? I'm going to bring this in too. That is also smoothing. How many primers does one need? I think that's it. This one's also new. This is also blurring. I already have like 3 blurring in here. I think I'm going to move this up since I'm not utilizing that space. I think that's it. I think just the 3. And if I feel the need, I can dig in here and pull something else out, I guess. For the lip category, I usually just bring in the newness. I don't know that I have a lot of newness right now. I'll bring in this Wherever Walnut, like Makeup Forever pencil. Bring in this from ColourPop. This is in the shade Obvi. I really do like that shade. I think I'm going to bring in also the Natasha Denona pencil. And Natasha, I know this has been in a few times, but it's so tiny. I do think that I can get it finished this year if I really put my mind to it. Let's bring in a darker brown. This one is in the shade Girl, but I don't know because the shade name is kind of wiped off. This is a really dark brown, but we're going to try it. We're going to try it out. That's it for lip liners. Let's see. For glosses, I haven't tried this one yet, so I am going to bring this gloss in. You know, typically I don't like dig into my glosses for the Shop My Stash, but I feel like in order for me not to like get sucked into just one gloss, I need to pull I need to pull glosses in. I think I'm going to bring these. This is also, I mean, it's still sealed, but it's not new in my collection, so I'll bring that one. So I have this one is the Rem Beauty one. I haven't even tried anything from Rem Beauty yet, so that'll be interesting. This is Milky Gloss. This is in the shade, I think, Cocoa. Yeah, Milk the Cocoa. And then this is a Mario Glow Gloss in the shade Nude Glow. I think I also want to bring in this new shade for me of the, forget the filler gloss. This one is in the shade, I think, Glazed. And we'll call it good because I can pull in any of these glosses, truly. From a lipstick perspective, I'm trying to get rid of all the minis in my collection because it drives me nuts that I have all these minis just floating around and they're not as strong as the rest of the, you know, lipsticks. They break easier, all the things. I'm going to bring in this one from Makeup Forever. I also think I'm going to bring in this one from Melt. It is in the shade Frisky. The Makeup Forever one is a little bit more pink. This one is a little bit more like beigey. I also think I'm going to bring in this one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in Icon Baby. I love Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, but that one is a little bit brown. I think that's it. Just 3 mini lipsticks I think are going to be it. I usually pull lipsticks as I see them necessary to my day. From a liquid lipstick perspective, I might pull... I think I'm just going to pull these two from Onzai. I have Swamp Fog and Shadow Creature. These were from the Angelica Nequist collab. I don't think I want any of those. I don't want any of those right now. These are just mini glosses. Lip oils. I have some lip oils that I'm trying to work through right now. This is a new lip oil gloss hybrid. Sticks. Crayons. Yeah, I think I'm good for now. All the rest of this is like balms. These are new. These are new that I haven't used. Should I bring in all those? I think I'm gonna pause on those. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pause on those. From the highlighter face palette realm, I do have these new ones. So these will be coming in automatically, right? Because they're new. This one is the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer in Jelly Opal Glow. So it's another like liquid highlighter. And then I have the Fenty Beauty Demi Glow in Pretty Pearls. So we'll bring those two in. I don't think I want any more highlighters because I do have, this makes my third like liquid highlight in this category. But I also know that that means I only have one powder highlight and I'm not sure that I will love that. So, you know, I think I might bring in this. This has a bunch of my Sydney Grace and like Ofra loose highlights and blushes, and I think I might bring some of these in. I think I'm going to bring this whole thing in. Gives me 3 blushes and honestly way too many highlights, but I think I have been saying how much I want my singles to get some use, and this is the best way to do it. And I do have some new blushes that I'll also be pulling in, but this is going to be for my highlight drawer. Okay, for bronzer and blush, I have all these. Now, this one's not new to me, this Hoola, so I'm just going to leave that. But I am going to pull in all of these. I have 3 new blushes and a contour stick. These are also new, these 2 guys here. So I'm going to pull in these as well. And these are both bronzers. So I have the Armani Luminous Silk bronzer, and I have the Lancome Tante Dole bronzer. So I'm going to pull these in, and that is it for bronzers. For eyes, I'm not going to pull in any of this because this is shadow sticks, and I think I have about 80 in in my drawer right now. However, we can focus in over here. I do think I'm going to pull these in because these were friend gifts from Andy, and I haven't used them yet, except for just swatches and tapping on the eye. So I do want to see some more use out of these, so I will bring these in as single eyeshadows. I do think also I want to pull in this, which is new. It is one of the Half Magic like glitter pills. I can't remember what they're called exactly, but this one I think is in the shade Puddle. I actually really, really love this one. So I'm going to try that one out. I pulled so many of these in last time, so I don't know that I want to pull in a bunch of those this time. I don't think I've used this. I know that I've used the orange one that I have. This one's in the 01 shade. I don't know what exactly it's called, but it's pretty and champagne-y, and I'm going to pull that in. I'm also going to pull in these liquid marble eyeshadows from AF94. But that is it for eyeshadows. I know that you guys didn't get to hear all the tick, 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 the clackiness, but this is what I've got for the drawer. I was putting things away as I was going because my room is such a mess right now. It really looks bare, and I'm trying to resist the urge to throw more in here because I have so many highlighters in this. And I'm not sure that that's going to be amazing because these 2 blushes are also super glowy blushes. And I'm not sure that I'm going to love them, if I'm honest with you. But I have all of the eye products. These are the highlighters plus these. These are blush and bronzer plus these. And of course, what I have in my project pan. This is all the lip products. This is all the complexion. I mean, I think I've got a good amount of stuff. It just looks really bare because it just looks really bare. Like I don't know what to do about that. I have 3 bronzers, 1 being a cream, 2 being powder, plus I have 1 in my project pan right now. I have 3 blushes here, 3 blushes here, plus I have 1 in my project pan and 1 in my deck of panning. I have 5 highlighters here, and I have 8 highlighters here. So I mean, for a person who doesn't even wear highlight that much, that's a lot. I have all my shadow sticks. I have a couple of single shadows. I have some liquid shadows and glitters. I have 2 powders. I have 3 foundations plus the 2 that are in my project pan. Like, I think that I've got enough, and I think that if I pack it any fuller than this, I'm gonna feel overwhelmed. I only have the 2 concealers, but I guess 2 is more than I normally have, and then I also have the 1 in project pan. So I feel like we've got a good mix. So we're going to leave it here. So with that said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this Shop My Stash. Please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I hope that you'll want to subscribe before you go. We do this about once every month or so on my channel. I'll probably pause it at the beginning of the year so I can get my inventory under control like it did last year. But it'll come back way sooner than it did last year. That said, I have about 1,000 videos on my channel to choose from. I'm sure that you can find something that you like. If you're new here and you loved it, and you loved me in the beginning, please subscribe. I would love to have you along for the journey. Don't forget to hit me up down in the comment section. I hope that you all are doing well. I hope that you are all safe and healthy and getting along as best as you can. I hope that you are all loving each other, being kind humans, and living your best life. And until next time, bye, friends.